Bryce Harper, big topic. $500 million. I mean, John, seriously, is that even close to possible? The amount of money is just mind-boggling.
Well, his agent, Scott Boras, isn't naming any prices. He's not naming the year. He's not naming the amount per year, but he certainly has his case, his arguments that suggest that if you estimate, extrapolate what he's talking about, that's what it seems like they're looking for. He talked about how elite players play until they're 40. So Bryce Harper, we know he just turned 26, so that's 14 years. He talked about how Zach Greinke, highest paid player in the game now at $34 million average, was a 32-year-old pitcher when he signed that deal. And obviously Harper, we just said, is 26. He's an everyday player. So what he's kind of suggesting is he's worth more than $34 million. Even if you make it $35 million times 14, I think we're getting close to $500 million at that point. Now, he's not naming that. I think that's a bar that he's not going to be able to reach. Our expert on Fancred estimated, I believe it was $374 million in our rundown of 131 free agents. $374 million is pretty good, and a lot of people looked at that as a very high number when he said it, and I got a lot of comments on that, and they said he's nowhere near getting that, but as of now, we know that he already turned down $300 million from the Nats. We don't have that exact offer. It didn't include a no trade, as I learned later. It didn't include an opt-out, as Chelsea Janes reported, but $300 million, they could have negotiated off of that. They really didn't. We don't know exactly what they said in terms of a counter, but nothing came of it, and it was a very quick conversation. So, I think the $500 million is not something he's saying, and I don't think they're going to reach it. But I think our expert who gets 374, which was a lot higher than I had around 330 million, might be in the ballpark.
Do you think a team will realistically assign him to a 14-year deal? I mean, that's just so much could happen in that time.
Right. Well, you know what? He's about the same age as Stanton was when he signed a 13-year deal. And, Boras points out that Stanton was a couple of years from free agency when he signed that deal for the $325 million. And I think we can fairly say they're pretty comparable players. Obviously both have big power, both played corner outfield. They've had some ups and downs defensively, but obviously they're both major stars. And I think in terms of performance, they're fairly comparable. Each has won an MVP. Stanton did not win that MVP before he signed the deal. He won it after. So I think Boras talks about four pillars, and one of them is rights, beyond performance and iconic, which he defines as branding, marketing, all that, and age, which is a big factor as well. I think the rights is a big issue, and that's something that he's going to talk about because Giancarlo Stanton got that $325 million deal, and more power to him, and good job by his agent, the Wasserman Company, and Joel Wolf to get the $325 million. But it does kind of set up Harper for an argument to get significantly more than the $325 million. That said, we know what happened last year in the free agent market. Guys were very disappointed, so we will see. We're early right now, and we've only had 2 or 3 signings to this point. So don't know whether it's going to happen, but in Harper's case, we do know he turned down the $300 million.
I'll take it.
We all will, believe me.